This video is brought to you by Def Magazine, which was created by myself along with about a dozen talented writers and artists from around the world. We recently released our 4th issue featuring album reviews, upcoming artist profiles, and interviews with a few artists, including my interview with CRIMEAPPLE, who was the cover artist, as well as the topic for today's video. Physical and digital copies are both available at staydef.com, and now let's get on with the video.
Colombia, land of contrast, gateway to South America, the crossroads of 2 continents.
Deseo ser tu amor para poder vivir así con cada espacio de tu cuerpo.
In the ever-changing space of the underground hip-hop scene, few artists embody the essence of duality quite like CRIMEAPPLE. As a lyricist and storyteller, he seamlessly weaves between 2 worlds, reflecting a dual heritage and a multitude of life experiences. This duality is the cornerstone of his music and identity. Hip-hop at its core is an East Coast culture, even though it has grown to become one of the most prevalent forces in the entire world. Hip-hop music is thriving internationally, and still in the tri-state area, but those 2 things rarely intersect. The East Coast underground scene is dominating hip-hop culture right now in America, but every other major country has their own underground scenes, and they're all doing their thing. CRIMEAPPLE has been able to capture the gritty realism of East Coast hip-hop and the expansive creativity of the world's influence on the genre. Born and raised in North Jersey, CRIMEAPPLE has spent the last 7 years building an incredible discography, working with artists from all over the world and bringing the East Coast hip-hop scene to many different countries and continents. CRIMEAPPLE never let himself fall into one singular niche. Everything he does has multitudes, from the artists he collaborates with, to the types of rhymes in his verses, to even the languages that he raps in. Crime will never let himself be boxed in by one thing, and he's taking over the world of hip-hop because of it. When he started rapping, he picked the name CRIMEAPPLE, and it immediately fit. Check out our interview in Def Magazine to read the funny story about how he picked the name, but it really is so perfect for his style and represents the duality that he is all about: crime and apple. The crime of his hustle-first lifestyle and upbringing, and the apple that represents all that is natural and good. When you listen to him rap, you can hear both of these sides of him in every song. CRIMEAPPLE would write raps and battle people throughout his teenage years and early 20s, but he really didn't start taking it seriously until his late 20s when he got a look on the Static Selector radio show. After getting so much love from his freestyle that day, he decided it was time for him to take this rap shit seriously. His first record, Metralleta, came out in 2017. With most artists in the internet age, you can hear the progression of their sound from their early mixtapes all the way until they finally break through. But CRIMEAPPLE spent his time honing his craft behind the scenes. By the time he finally put a record out for the people, he was already fully formed as an artist. He arrived with a confidence an MC can only have once they are at the top of their craft, while still having a hunger that a rookie would show, trying to prove to the world that they belong. His lyrics have a clarity that highlights conceptual storytelling and a grander display of the usual rap affair like guns, drugs, and women. His music has the attitude and subject matter of rap for the streets, while reaching the artistic highs of what someone could call connoisseur rap. The technical ability of his rapping and flows is up there with the best of his generation, and he channels his duality by always making sure that his personality comes through on every record. He followed that record up with Aguardiente with the producer Big Ghost, who is perhaps most known by the masses for his collaborations with Griselda. And this record lived up to those collaborative heights, channeling a grittier side to CRIMEAPPLE's sound, and solidifying his place in the scene. In 2019, he teamed up with DJ Skiz for what might be his best project, Wet Dirt. This has got to be the most accessible CRIMEAPPLE project. The bars are catchy and memorable, and the beats are singular and damn near cinematic. This to me is without a doubt one of the few underground classics around this time, right there along with mach-hommy's The Gat and Westside Gunn's Fly God. The self-titled opening track, Wet Dirt, samples the sound of music and flips it in a way that is distinctly him, declaring that he got it out the mud. This project is everything you could want from a CRIMEAPPLE record, from the hard braggadocio of Pasteles to the personal storytelling of Purple Rain and Divine. He even ends the album off with Feel Good, which is a show-off record, reminiscent of classic underground songs like Alphabet Aerobics by Black Alicious or Soda and Soap by Masta Ace. On this song he raps almost every word starting with the letter F, and this is exactly what separates him from his contemporaries. He built his career with a foundation of his form meeting function, and the result is always fantastic. One of the most important pieces of his artistry is his Colombian heritage. Crime is proud to be from his home state of New Jersey, but it's his South American roots that really guide him and push him into new realms of what he can do as an artist. He has become a real ambassador for international hip-hop, bridging the gap between the modern East Coast underground scene and the scenes of many different countries. He's featured many foreign rappers on his music, introducing them to American listeners, and he's also brought a number of American artists abroad to widen their view and artistic reach. When he was looking for inspiration after his first couple of records, he took DJ Muggs to Colombia to record their first collaborative project, Medallo. DJ Muggs has been making incredible collab albums with elite MCs for decades, but his chemistry with CRIMEAPPLE is unmatched. On this record they combine the East Coast with the West Coast with the world. CRIMEAPPLE may be best known as one of the few MCs who raps in 2 different languages. On many of his records he weaves in Spanish bars and verses to deepen his linguistic toolbox. It never seems forced and it's always seamless. Even when I personally don't know what he's saying, it still sounds dope and it works with each record. Rapping in English and Spanish open his influence up to the entire world. Only around 20% of the earth speaks English, so even though hip-hop is popular everywhere, most people in other countries can't even fully appreciate what most American rappers are rapping about. In embracing his Colombian heritage, Crime has embraced a large portion of the world that has otherwise felt disconnected to the American underground scene, and in return the Spanish-speaking countries and fans have embraced CRIMEAPPLE right back. CRIMEAPPLE released around 20 projects from 2019 to 2023 alone. He is one of the hardest working artists in hip-hop right now. This run of greatness has a ton of dope projects, but my personal favorites are the 2 You Don't Fuck With Crime albums. They really highlight his personality and comedic sensibilities while also honing in on his introspective songwriting. In this run he has verses in English, Spanish, features from foreign language artists, and even has an entire album with an artist who raps in French, bringing his influence to the Eastern Hemisphere as well. Another important project for him was Jaguar on Palisades, because that was essentially the first album that he executive produced. Up until this point he had only really made albums with one producer each time, but this time he had a number of different producers, all putting in their ingredients, and he was able to chef it up into a dynamite main course. It all comes from his hustle-first work ethic. Remember, he got a late start in rap, so he spent a large portion of his life working odd jobs and moving from hustle to hustle, trying to make the best out of what he had at the time. A word that often comes up with his music and with his overall brand is manteca. This translates to butter in Spanish, but also means grease in certain situations, and this word channels the duality that he lives by. It can be taken literally to represent the grease and butter that the aunts and mothers in his neighborhood would stay back home and cook with when he was younger, or manteca could be taken figuratively to represent the hard drugs that the fathers and uncles were selling in the streets. These are the 2 sides that guide him in everything that is CRIMEAPPLE. In 2024 so far he has continued his amazing run, releasing 3 projects already in just the first 6 months. First with El Leon, his long-awaited collaboration with Preservation. On the album, Crime channels the rhyming prowess of a lion hunting his prey, and then he continued that hunger into Let Him Cook, which has some of my favorite CRIMEAPPLE songs in years, most notably Seance, where he channels the ghosts of MC's past to take advice. And then most recently he linked back up with Big Ghost to release Bazooko, and this is one of the sharpest and most entertaining projects this year. CRIMEAPPLE has been able to take his music to places around the world that most other underground rappers can only dream of. He has been all over the world and he's doing it on his own merits, as an underground rapper. The world of hip-hop can be so big, but because of artists like CRIMEAPPLE, it's becoming a little bit smaller each and every day, and there's no telling where in the world his duality will show up next. Thank you for watching, everybody. Let me know down in the comments what is your favorite CRIMEAPPLE record. If you're interested, make sure to go to staydef.com to check out Def Magazine. We are doing our best to keep old school hip hop journalism alive, the best that we can. If you're able to support and cop the magazine, that is greatly appreciated. And if you're not, that's okay too. Sharing it with your friends is free and also very appreciated. This is our best issue yet, so if you've bought an issue in the past, give this one a chance. And don't worry, because we definitely got another one coming at you guys later this year. I want to give a special shout out to my patrons. I couldn't do this without them. And also, by the way, included with the Patreon is a free digital copy of all 4 issues of the magazine. So you would be able to read the magazine, listen to all of my exclusive podcasts, get all of my Patreon exclusive playlists, and have the ability to vote on a video topic each and every month. If you're interested, you could head over to patreon.com/DefGoldblum for more information. And that just about does it. Thank you all for watching. As always, I got a lot more headed your way soon, so stay tuned, stay safe, and stay def. Thanks for watching.